My parents are in their 60s, and when your parents hit their 60s, just so you know, you kind of realize that you go, all right, I'm in charge of this family now, you know? They don't give it up. They don't offer it away. They just start doing stuff that you're like, I don't, you know. We went to the store the other day, and we walked back to the car. We were in the store for an hour. We walked back. The driver's side door is wide open. He drove, opened the door to go inside, and just kept walking. He's been driving for 50 years. And I know cars are getting crazy, but one thing that stayed the same in all these 50 years is you got to open and shut that front door. My dad wore my mom's pants to a funeral. That was the day that I was like, look, we can't listen to this guy no more, you know? We got to go get him. He doesn't know what's happening. It's supposed to be a clean show. I'm bringing this filth into it. I don't say the word sucks. Like, this sucks. I don't, because that was a very bad word in the 80s. And look, I'm sorry to say it now. My dad took us to see the first Karate Kid at the movie theater, and they said sucks in it. And right when I heard it, I looked at my dad and I go, what kind of trash you bringing us to? I was not allowed to watch anything. I mean, when they made The Simpsons, it was like, I guess they're just showing R-rated TV shows now. She does whatever she wants. She turned 18 and got a tattoo. And I was like, well, you're going to get in pretty big trouble when they find that out. And she goes, I'm 18. I can do whatever I want. I go, yeah, well, I'm 28. And I'm still hiding wine, so I don't think you can. Pardon my language, but I think it stinks what's going on. I think it stinks. Look, guys, all seriousness, though, global warming, we gotta stop it. More of it. I don't really know which way we want to go, but it can't stay warmer. I know that. It's got to be one or, something's got to happen. Something can't stay where we're at. So go. I don't know what direction you want me to just go. Let's use this as a platform for global, guys. I felt like, as a spokesperson for all of Earth, all right? I think I'll give you a message that I don't think no one will give you. And I'm here to say that we're doing fine. So just relax. We're doing great, all right? I did some research. And I was like, let me look at the other planets. Let's see how good they're doing. And I don't want to, it's unbelievable. They're nowhere right now.
I remember driving to do a gig at this, I was opening for my buddy and we're driving out there. And my car barely worked at the time, and this was in New York, and it was the exit. I remember they go, we're the last exit. If you miss our exit, you're going to Canada. So there's the last exit in America. So they're like, don't miss this exit. Right. And it snowed, and my windshield wipers won't work, and so you had to stop every now and then so I could see. And then we did it, and then we went up and did a show. It was like a 6-hour drive just to have a lady tell me that I wasn't funny. She just yelled it out while you're up there. She's like, and when you can't hear them, you go, what's that? What'd you say? Yeah. I make her say it twice. Right. Instead of just moving on. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What were you saying? Excuse me? She's like, you're not funny. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then afterwards, she came up and said, my husband said I shouldn't have said that. That was mean. And I was like, oh, well, thanks. She's like, I'm sorry. But she's like, but I honestly, I just don't see how you could even do this. She couldn't let it go.
I really want to go visit? Cambodia. That's where it's at, guys. I don't know where it's at, but I know that's where it's at. So that's the good part, Here's what they have in Cambodia. This is a for real, legit tourist attraction that they have. You can shoot a rocket launcher at a cow. Yeah, that's one of their options, all right? And I know, you're like, all right, I bet it's pricey. So, no, it's not, actually. It's very reasonably priced, which is nice. It's only $400. That's not that bad of a deal to shoot a rocket launcher at a cow. And if you're like, well, what if we don't hit it? Is it really worth it to take the family there? Yes, it is, all right? No one hits it. No one shoots it. They're like, I do this a lot at home. This is kind of... And they're good dudes. They give you $200 back if you don't hit it. So that's a good business. Why would you not support a business like that? The best wedding I've ever been to was my cousin's wedding. It was a real redneck affair. It was right outside Louisville, Kentucky, where my parents are from. And my cousin's name is Tuesday, which is a good start. The invitation said Tuesday's getting married, rehearsals Friday, wedding Saturday. People were like, we got to be there Monday for this wedding? How long is this wedding? It's a week? Look, it's getting very advanced. I've been to a dog bakery. I've been to a dog bakery in my life. I went in there, and no one was in there. The lady was looking at me like, are you here to buy this store for me? That was her only hope. She said her and her husband bought the store for their 27-year-old daughter, who graduated from college with a degree and came out of college and said, I want to own a dog bakery. I want to make cakes for dogs. Which if I asked my 6-year-old what she wants to do when she grows up, I think she'll tell me she wants to make cakes for dogs. And I'm going to tell her that she can do whatever she wants to do, hoping she doesn't turn 27 and go, let's talk about those cakes for those dogs. I get it. It's for our kids and their kids, and we want to make sure they have a good earth and their environment and stuff. We don't want to have a bad earth. And we don't want them to be mad at us and yell at us. But I don't think they will, because I don't think we get mad. I don't ever see litter on the ground and call my grandmother and be like, where do you get off? You know? I don't know how you show your face anymore, all right? It's cloudy today. Is that because you smoked on planes? Probably. Why'd you have to smoke that high? Where do you think that smoke was going? The best wedding I've ever been to was my cousin's wedding. It was a real redneck affair. It was right outside Louisville, Kentucky, where my parents are from. And my cousin's name is Tuesday, which is a good start. The invitation said Tuesday's getting married, rehearsals Friday, wedding Saturday. People were like, we got to be there Monday for this wedding? How long is this wedding? It's a week? Our daughter is in 3rd grade, and for 1st grade, she started taking the bus, and it was the first time she ever took the bus. So if you know as a parent, you walk them to the bus stop, it's very fun. And so we got her on the bus. She went to school. At the end of the school day, someone from the school called my cell phone. They have my wife's cell phone, they have my cell phone. They called my cell phone, and she said, hey, do you know what bus number your daughter's supposed to be on? And I said, I'm her dad. I said, are you crazy? I was like, this is how you thought you would get this information, was to call the dad? You saw a mom and dad's cell phone. You go, I bet the dad knows. I was like, do you have parents? Have you ever seen a family before? You thought, let's call the husband? Unless there's 2 husbands, you should never call a husband a day in your life. I would rather you ask a lady that doesn't know her. I think she could get to the bottom of it quicker than I can. I had to go get her. I go, all right, I'll come get her. Tell me the name of this school and I'll come get her. Where does she go? A lot of kids, when you pack lunches now, you got to be careful because a lot of kids have peanut allergies now. And our daughter actually has cashew allergy with tree nuts. And so I don't know what tree nuts are, but it could kill my daughter. The doctor just goes, can't have tree nuts, and that's it. He left. And I was like, we'd love to know. I don't know where nuts came from, but apparently they come from 2 different places, and one of them's a tree. I feel bad. I'm here. Look, I want to defend all these kids with peanut allergies. I don't think they get defended. They get yelled at by adults. We got a lot of adults addicted to peanuts in this country, and they're furious. I haven't had peanuts in forever. You could take peanuts out of my life, I don't think I would notice. And we just have adults are yelling at these children like they chose it. Like when they were born, the doctor goes, hey, do you want to be a nightmare to everybody? Every scenario is life and death. You ever been on a plane? They just announce it. These planes just serve pretzels and be done with it. But they try every flight. And if they can't, they just go, all right, everybody, can't have peanuts today because that loser kid right there. And these grown-ups are booing them. I mean, the reason I'm on the flight is for the peanuts. I don't even know where it's going. On a sadder note of sorts, we had to put our dog down recently, and it's a tough thing to do. You know, nothing was wrong with her. I'm just really busy right now, and she was very sick. That was a joke. All right, that was a joke, and she would have loved that joke. So don't you worry about it. That's the type of humor she had. She was a rescue. It's not your labradoodle humor, all right? It's a little darker. So now we are basically at Mount Rainier. If you ever go, just so you know, you have to pay to go up it. It's not a free mountain. Someone bought it, and they're charging tickets. It's also all uphill. It's a nightmare. So be ready for those things. We drive up, we park, and we're walking up the trail. So we're going up it halfway. I mean, I can barely breathe. And this couple's coming down, so I stopped them. I was like, hey, is this enough where we're at? You know, is this like, you get it. Like, we're not trying to live on this mountain. And the lady goes, I'm 75 years old, and I did it. And I was like, all right, maybe that's why you didn't hear the question that I asked. Everybody's pretty cocky on the way down. I mean, there was women with babies. They had 3-month-old babies strapped to their chest. I was like, why would you bring that much extra weight with you? I left my wallet in the car. One was in high school. I got pushed into a wall head first. And it took them 3 class periods to figure out I had a concussion. That's how much I was bringing to the table. I mean, 2 teachers didn't even notice. And the third one was like, he wasn't facing forward. And that's when I realized he's one of the better facer forwards I've ever had. So I knew. Our daughter still sleeps in our bed, too. And parents don't like that when you say it. They're like, you got to keep them outside. Don't look at them. It's my fault. So we had a kid late in life. We have 1 kid. And so we're kind of hitting all the sights. And I would be, when I get home, I travel a bunch and I get home, I'd want us to all sleep in the bed together. And I've kind of built up a habit now, and it's happening. So it's tough, though, because kids don't know how to sleep. I mean, she makes king bed feel like a twin. I mean, I'm on the edge. When I sleep alone in a hotel, I have to sleep with my head on the nightstand. It's the only way I know how to go to bed. She gets sideways, upside down. If you woke up upside down tomorrow, you would go to the hospital. She's also apparently going through menopause because she's the hottest human being that's ever lived. I'm not freezing at night. She just kicks all the covers off, and you're like, yeah, no, you go ahead. It's your bed. We're lucky to be in it. 43. You still think you're young. I have this jacket on. I'll hang out with a 23-year-old, and I'm like, you get it, dude? We're just a couple young dudes kicking it. Some guy will walk up. He's like, I'm 45. I'm like, why don't you beat it, old man? I can't believe that guy had the nerve to think he was our age, right, dude? That's crazy. Let's go sit down for a little bit. Doctor visits change. I had to get a physical. I mean, before 40, you don't even go inside. It's like a drive-in window. You just move your neck, and he's like, come on, dude, you're wasting everybody's time, all right? It was the first time I've ever been talked to old. It was just me and the doctor, and he looks at me, and he just goes, do you pee a lot at night? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, did my dad just walk in the room? How old do you think I am? I've never peed at night in my life. How about that? But since you brought it up, what is a lot? What is a big amount? He was telling me everything Earth is going through. It's pollution. He said our water's being poisoned. Yeah. He told me after. And he was like, look, you can cancel it on the website. I was like, I don't even know what's going on right now.
It's great having a kid. I've been married for 7 years, and so now we just have a 1-year-old daughter. So it's getting pretty serious. And this is what took it over the edge. We were living in New York when my daughter was to be born, but I'm from Tennessee, so we flew home and my daughter was born in Tennessee. I didn't want her to be born in New York. I don't need her growing up thinking she's better than me. So I was like, you start where we start, all right? How about that? It was wild. Does anybody have kids here? Or a couple? One person, all right. The rest is like, when I die, this city dies. All right. Yeah. It's wild. I remember on the way to the hospital, I told my wife, I was like, look, I don't want to see anything, all right? It's going to be gross. I wish it was like the 50s when they didn't even let men in the hospital. But it's not. Now, doctors are like, do you want to deliver the baby? Why don't you do most of it? They just pull the baby out, and then they just tell you, they're here, cut the umbilical cord. They just tell you to do it real fast. I didn't take a class. They just act like I'm the guy that cuts umbilical cords at the hospital. I almost cut the wrong part, and they were like, that's not right. I was like, oh, maybe, you should jump in. You did go to doctor school for this. I don't know why I'm doing minor surgery right now. then they just hand you your baby, and they're like, all right, we'll see ya. And that's when you're like, I'd really like your help now. Like, I need you to live with me or something. The first question I asked, they should have probably kept, I was holding her, I was like, how much do you feed it? I bet it's a lot. It seems like it'd be a lot. It sounded like I was buying a hamster at a pet store. The big thing they tell you, the number one thing they say, they're really big on they're like, whatever you do, let's just try not to shake this baby. That's like the number one goal. And they tell it to you, like they're almost like, obviously you're going to want to shake the baby. But it would be so awesome if you just did not shake this baby. That would be the best. And then they showed me a video of a guy that's like, here's what I do instead of shaking my baby. Like he was like, I take walks, for instance. You know, I walk 70 miles a day or something. I walk a lot. Then I signed a certificate like I was in kindergarten that said, all right, I promise, I swear to God, I won't shake the baby. Quit asking me about this. I've never heard the word shake so much in my entire life. That's all we talked about. And the first night we got her home, she was like, you know, you're like delirious. You're just confused and tired. And she was like crying for like 6 hours. And I was like sitting there, I was like, wait, are we supposed to shake this baby? Like, is this when we do it? This seems like when you would do it. But we didn't. We didn't shake her, so it's cool. We have rocked her aggressively, but there's been. She had to go. Went to the doctor to get when she was 9 months old. You have to do a 9-month-old checkup. So we go to the doctor, and she has to get a shot, and it's like the worst. Like when babies get shots because they don't know what's going on. Like she's just looking at us, being like, "This day's going unbelievable." Like. I don't see what could go wrong, you know? What could go wrong? Why would anything go wrong? And then you're looking at her like it's about to all go wrong. You don't even sort of understand how wrong it's going to be. So she gets the shot, so we go to grab her, you know, because we're going to hold her and console her. But she doesn't cry. She's just fine with the shot. And, we're just sitting there, the doctor's surprised. My wife's like, maybe this is a sign that she's going to be, a powerful woman, you know, a strong girl. And I was like, maybe. We should also see if she's going to be a psycho. Who doesn't cry when they get a shot? Maybe that's what we should look into. That doesn't make you nervous? I would cry if you gave me a shot. She's already fine with pain at 9 months old. In 20 years, I'm either going to be telling her, look, we love you so much, and we're happy that you've accomplished everything. Or I will be on the news going, we love you, but you need to turn yourself in right now. Just do the right thing.
Homework's fun. First and second grade was awesome. Third grade, you're like, okay. They throw some stuff in, you're like, oh, all right. It's, okay. Learning it earlier than we used to, huh? I don't even know if that's true, but. She brought home Common Core math. That's fun. It's a new math they invented. No heads up, just give it to parents that never learned it. It's just a whole new. It's unbelievable. Why when they bring it home, you go watch a 40-minute YouTube video on Common Core math. I don't even understand it. If you know it, if you don't know Common Core, it's just a new math. And the goal of Common Core is to use one sheet of paper for every problem. You just want to keep breaking the problem down. You put the problem at the top, and it just keeps going. And then what's even funnier is you see old math in the middle of it. As you break it down, old math gets in there, and you're like, oh, just do that at the top. I don't even know what we're doing. And it's not like old math isn't working. Old math's doing, I don't get incorrect change everywhere just going, this stupid old math. It's a long way to get at the same answer. I told my wife, I go, it feels like if you knocked on my front door and I opened it, and you say, can I come in? And I was like, do you mind walking in and coming in through the back door? And you'd be like, does the front door not work? I'm like, no, it works. I use it. A lot of people still use it. But the new way is to go jump the fence and come in the back and meet me at this same spot. Well, even though I make fun of Common Core, I have learned stuff from elementary homework, which is embarrassing. I'm 41. My daughter's 8. Nothing should ever come out of her mouth that I'm like, what? What was that? I learned when to use a or an in a sentence. I mean, I didn't know that there was a rule in play. I thought you felt it out, you know? You just go, that feels right, and that's what you do. I do the same thing with a comma. I never known where a comma's supposed to go. If I feel a comma's coming, I try to get out of that sentence so bad. I mean, and if I can, I just put a comma and see if someone says something, you know? If they're like, is that a comma? I'm like, isn't my comma button has been sticking on my phone. My dad is a magician. He's done that my entire life. He was a clown at the very beginning, just in case you're like, how do you get into something like that? He goes clown then magic. There's 2 steps. You can take them in either order. I was born, he was a clown. It was never weird to me. I thought everybody's dad was a clown. My first memory of my life is I was 5 years old, and I remember my mom walked me out to the front yard, and my dad pulled up with this old red Mazda. He's dressed as a clown. That doesn't even faze me. That's just how he left. How else would he come home? And the Easter Bunny was in the passenger seat. That's the first thing that I remember to my life. If you want to know how you get into comedy, that's a pretty good nudge. And I remember it didn't fit, the Easter Bunny head didn't fit in the car, like he couldn't sit normal. So his head was bent to the side. And I remember he had his seatbelt on, and he's just like, and I was like, I like to think about all the other people that saw that just in the car next to him, just at a red light. You're like, I didn't even know they hung out like that.
I remember driving to do a gig at this. I was opening for my buddy, and we're driving out there, and my car like barely worked at the time, and this was in New York, and it was the exit. I remember they go, we're the last exit. If you miss our exit, you're going to Canada. So there's the last exit in America. So they're like, don't miss this exit. Right. And it snowed, and my windshield wipers won't work, and like, so you had to like stop every now and just so I could see. And then we did it, and then we went up and did a show. It was like a 6-hour drive just to have a lady tell me that I wasn't funny. She just yelled it out while you're up there. She's like, and you know when you can't hear them, you go, what's that? What'd you say? Yeah. I make her say it twice, right? Like instead of just moving on. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What were you saying? Excuse me. She's like, you're not funny. Yeah. And I'm like, oh. And then afterwards, she came up and said, my husband said I shouldn't have said that. That was mean. And I was like, oh, well, that's thanks. She's like, I'm sorry, but she's like, but I mean, I honestly like, I just don't see how you could even do this. Like, she couldn't let it go. Like,
the best wedding I've ever been to was my cousin's wedding. It was a real redneck affair. It was right outside Louisville, Kentucky, where my parents are from. And my cousin's name is Tuesday, which is a good start. The invitation said, Tuesday's getting married, rehearsals Friday, wedding Saturday. People were like, we got to be there Monday for this wedding? How long is this wedding? It's a week? We get there, I'm wearing a button-down shirt, khaki pants, nothing crazy. I'm wildly overdressed. I look like I work there. Everybody else just has a football or basketball jersey on. My uncle, his daughters get married. He has his tuxedo jacket, pants, cummerbund, bow tie, no shirt. They forgot his shirt, and instead of waiting to go get it, he was like, let's do it without it, right? Like that's... And he doesn't have a body that's like, that's cool, man. You know, he has a body that you're like, put your jacket on backwards, flip it around. Yeah. And then you see his back, and you're like, whew, all right, go back to regular way. Yeah, that's my fault. How's your back worse than your front? We go into the church. It's bride and groom. Looks like it's home and away. That's how many jerseys are in there. Guys are drinking beers in the church. Like, that's something I've never heard a pastor be like, guys, could we not drink alcohol in the church? And they're like, oh, didn't know this was the nice part of town. All right. The reception is next door, just at a lady's house, like in her backyard. Like, she doesn't do, it isn't like she's like, and I do receptions all the time. We were her one and only reception. So we walk over. They took a horse and buggy. The horse was the oldest horse I've ever seen. I thought it was a donkey. I thought they got a deal on a donkey. And the guy was like, this horse was in the Kentucky Derby. Like, the first one that they did? Is that Secretariat's father? How old is this horse, man? You know they lay down, right? So we walked. It took them 45 minutes. They went up a driveway and back down the next driveway. They're sweating, almost divorced by the time they get there. The reception, like I said, it's in her backyard. They put plywood on the grass, like side by side, to make a dance floor. We danced just to a radio station on a boombox. Just like 104.5. You would have to stop for weather and traffic updates. There was a punch bowl that was low to the ground, like on a low table. And so I was giving it to kids. I was trying to help out. And then someone was like, that's wine. And I gave it to so many kids. I don't know anything about wine, but I don't think they tell you to pour it into a bowl. Like, that's not... No one's ever like, let's get out of that box, get in a bowl. You know, let's let it breathe a little bit. I got a couple 9-year-olds pretty loose that night. I tried to... I'm always like trying to lose weight. I had a thing that happened that I do. It was like, I got to get it together. I go to the trunk of my car and I take my shirt off, standing there, no shirt. And this old man walks up and goes, Olivia? I had to turn, I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm sorry. And he was like, oh, sorry, honest mistake. And I was like, I don't know. He was looking for his elderly wife and saw me with no shirt on and thought that could be Olivia. I had a car that he does not recognize. I don't know who he disrespected more, me or Olivia, to be honest. I mean, we could both have a word with him. And I went up to this guy and I was like, hey man, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, what's a hammock? And it threw me off enough that I was like, am I saying it wrong? I was like, I think I'm saying it wrong, because you know what it is. And I was like, is it hammock with a T? Does that sound right? Like, do you guys sell hammocks? And he was like, we're out of hammocks. We're out of them. It's hammock season. And I left, went to my car, Googled where to buy a hammock. And Google was like, do you mean hammock? I was like, I sure do, Google. Where were you at during all of this? I heard a story. This kid, he had 2 goldfish. So he grabbed one of them, he squeezed it, it exploded. That's pretty crazy. I don't feel bad for that goldfish. You know, he died quickly. I feel bad for the other goldfish that just has to deal with that trauma now. You know how insane that would be? They're not going to buy this kid another fish. He's killing them. Like, he's got to... Imagine if you're locked in a room with someone and they just exploded. It would change your life forever. It's the worst. You know, I feel like in a marriage, you have one of you is a dreamer. You know, money's not real. Let's have fun. Let's go do fun stuff as much as we can. And the other person hates fun. And that's how you make a marriage. You can't have 2 dreamers. You're going to be homeless in an hour. You need someone that just walks around. Is fun happening? I'd like to put a stop to that. Are y'all having fun? Stop it. Is the air conditioner on? Turn it off. I married my dad, is who I married. Look, I want to defend all these kids with peanut allergies. I don't think they get defended. They get yelled at by adults. We got a lot of adults addicted to peanuts in this country. And they're furious. I haven't had peanuts in forever. You could take peanuts out of my life, I don't think I would notice. And we just have, adults are yelling at these children like they chose it. Like when they were born, the doctor goes, hey, do you want to be a nightmare to everybody? Every scenario is life and death. You ever been on a plane? They just announce it. These planes just serve pretzels and be done with it. But they try every flight. If they can't, they just go, all right, everybody, can't have peanuts today because that loser kid right there. And these grown-ups are booing them. I mean, they're just, the only reason I'm on the flight is for the peanuts. I don't even know where it's going. I've seen 3 seconds of Rescue 911. I remember walking through the living room. My parents are watching it. I look at the TV. A guy has a ski mask on, and a woman is asleep with her feet out from under the covers, and he started rubbing her foot. That's all I saw. I kept walking. I don't know what happened before or after, but I know I've never been able to sleep with my feet out from under the covers. because I accidentally saw that 30 years ago. And my feet get so hot, and I want to put them out so bad. Or Generation X. I've never even really heard any of those terms growing up. And now you hear them all the time. So I looked it up to try to see, I was like, what am I? And I'm technically nothing. I'm on a cusp. I'm a generation gap. And what we are called, Zennials, or we're called the Oregon Trail generation, or we are called, my favorite name is the Lucky Ones. And it's true, we're very lucky. We actually grew up in two different worlds. When I was a kid, I grew up like it was the 50s. Like you would go outside and your parents just didn't know where you were. We went to school and played Oregon Trail on a computer at school. No one had a computer at home. It's like, what are you, a zillionaire? Like, I mean, you could. But then in high school, I had AOL. You know, we had a computer at home. Then I got a beeper, and then I got a cell phone. I didn't have social media until I was 26 with MySpace. You know, I mean, social media, like, whatever I did in high school is a rumor. It can't ruin my life. So if you're around my age, you might realize, like, you just end up always kind of being in the middle. Like, I understand when a Gen Xer says something, you're like, I get it. And Millennial says something, you're like, no, I get it. You always just feel in the middle. And these groups all hate each other. And the most I've ever felt where I was in the middle was just this one hotel that I stayed at. So a lot of hotels now, they have Chromecast, and you can watch, like, Netflix in your hotel room. So I get in my room, and I turn it on, and my Chromecast is not working. So I call down to the front desk, and the oldest voice I ever heard answered the phone. This guy was a Civil War survivor. I mean, he was the age where you just go, thank you for your service. And it's like, was in the Army? You're like, probably, man. I mean, there's an age where, like, they all had to go at that age, so just say it. So I tell him, I go, hey, my Chromecast is not working. And I could have just made up a word. I mean, he's never heard of that. I could have said, my beep bop broke. I mean, he asked if I was staying at that hotel. That's how he goes, are you staying here? I was like, do you think I've called a front desk from a different hotel room? He goes, look, I don't know what this is, but there's a younger guy here. I'm going to send him up. He'll be able to help you. And I was like, great. So that guy comes up, and he knocks on my door. I open it. He's my dad's age. And I mean, right when I see him, you're like, all right, dude, we don't have to do this. You know, I mean, I know you've heard of it, but if I can't fix it, you're not going to be able to fix it. But he's the generation that still wants to give it a try. So I got to let him in. So he comes in my room, sits on my bed, a little too far back, I thought. I just remember, like, the back of his calves were touching the bed. And I was like, are your feet dangling? How far back are you going to go? Are you cold? Do you want some covers, man? He gets the remote and just starts pressing all the buttons. And I said, I don't know if that's going to do it. And he goes, let's just keep trying it, though. I go, all right. I'm going to turn the shower on, open a window. Let's try everything. You know, let's just see. Maybe it turns on. Who knows? Maybe it's all connected. So we can't get it. And he goes, all right. He goes, there's a younger guy. He's about to come to work. And at this point, I'm like, I'm the younger guy, man. I was like, it's all right, dude. I don't need it. And he goes, no, it's a millennial. And I was like, all right. Now we're getting somewhere, you know? This is what the millennial does. He was born with technology. He's going to know how to fix this. I was excited. I was like, great. He goes, he comes to work in an hour. I go, wonderful. And let me tell you, you know how quick that millennial fixed it? Well, I'll never know because he just didn't come to work that night. So, and I found out because the old guy called me because he was supposed to fill in for him. He was furious, dude. He hates that millennial. He goes, he never comes to work. He doesn't take it serious. He's got a peanut allergy. And I was like, all right, well, I ended up fixing it myself because it was just unplugged. So that's my fault. Here's what I'm doing for, my daughter's future environment is what I decided to do. They say we won't have water. So I put a bunch of buckets outside to collect water. And when she turns 18 and she's like, do I get money? I'm like, something a little better than money. I bet you've always wondered what those buckets were doing outside. Well, they're all yours, and that's for your kids and their kids. Everybody gets a bucket of water. No, look, guys, all seriousness, though, global warming, we gotta stop it. Or more of it. I don't really know which way we want to go, but it can't stay warmer. I know that. It's got to be one or, something's got to happen. Something can't stay where we're at. So go, I don't know what direction you want me to just go. Our other neighbor's an actuary. I thought that was with birds. I was like, what's that bird right there? Thing on 60 Minutes about, like, do you know you can buy a tiger here? Like in this, like if you guys want to buy a tiger tonight, I could get you in touch with someone that does have tigers. I don't know if I can. It's a real, you can buy a tiger here in the U.S. They did an undercover like reporting on it, and my favorite part was they asked the guy that sells tigers. They were like, "So do you think it's like too easy to buy a tiger in this country?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, it's like it's way too easy." And you know what? That's why America's the best. All right. I didn't even know you could buy tigers. Like I would have been embarrassed to ask. And then I come and find out I don't really have to jump through hoops if I do want to buy a tiger. It's not an all-day thing, it's like an hour. I'll be right back with our tiger. And everybody wants to take away guns. You know, it's like we gotta get everybody's guns. But then that makes me nervous because I think if you take away guns from people, those are the exact same people that will buy tigers. And that's a much bigger problem, all right? Like, you're probably gonna be like, look, here's your gun back. And they're like, no, I'm good, dude. My tiger is way better than my gun. My gun missed all the time. My tiger rarely misses. Even if he does miss, it's just for a second, you know? Like, it's never, like, if the guy dodges, he's like, your dumb tiger missed. It's like, I mean, it did not. It is right behind you now. And, yeah, he's pissed about it. So, now we're getting somewhere, you know? This is what the millennial does. He was born with technology. He's going to know how to fix this. I was excited. I was like, great. He goes, he comes to work in an hour. I go, wonderful. And let me tell you, you know how quick that millennial fixed it? Well, I'll never know because he just didn't come to work that night. So, didn't call in, nothing. And I found out because the old guy called me because he was supposed to fill in for him. He was furious, dude. He hates that millennial. He goes, he never comes to work. He doesn't take it serious. He's got a peanut allergy. And I was like, all right, well, I ended up fixing it myself because it was just unplugged. So that's my fault. I have a daughter, and my daughter's name is Harper. So a lot of people ask, they're like, oh, did you name her after Harper Lee, the author of To Kill a Mockingbird? And, you know, I've never thought about an author a day in my life. So that never occurred to me. I mean, my middle name's Lee, and just never crossed my mind. I love having a kid. I love when kids cry. It's just innocent. I love how innocent it is. They cry over a tag in their shirt, and I mean they're ball. Just they don't like. It feels weird. And then I mean, if you walk, you like, is your house on fire? Like I've never seen someone cry this much. It's over nothing. She's on her iPad a lot. You know, that's the hard part. You got to get these kids off. Or you don't want technology all the time. She just sits there on her iPad. She wants to be a YouTuber, which as a comedian makes me furious. She watches all these kid YouTube videos, and now she makes her own videos. It's just her sitting there going, hey guys, what's going on? Click the links below, subscribe, leave a comment. None of this is anywhere but my phone. I got 90 hours of this, not on YouTube. Me and her mom are the only subscribers. She just watches kids playing with toys. Too. Like, that's what's crazy. It's not like a show. I'd be fine if she watched a show. She watches just a kid that's like, hey, you don't have this toy? I do. You want to see me open it? It's got 5 billion views. It looks like we buy her nothing. Like, we just show her, if you want to watch a kid have fun, but you're never going to have fun in this house. Now we're getting somewhere, you know? This is what the millennial does. He was born with technology. He's going to know how to fix this. I was excited. I was like, great. He goes, he comes to work in an hour. I go, wonderful. And let me tell you, you know how quick that millennial fixed it? Well, I'll never know because he just didn't come to work that night. So, didn't call in, nothing. And I found out because the old guy called me because he was supposed to fill in for him. He was furious, dude. He hates that millennial. He goes, he never comes to work. He doesn't take it serious. He's got a peanut allergy. And I was like, all right, well, I ended up fixing it myself because it was just unplugged. So that's my fault. I
think you have to say that throughout the whole thing.
My name's Nate. It might be hard to understand me at some times. I'm from New York City. I'm just kidding. I'm from Nashville. I wear this shirt for a couple of reasons. So if I get questions like that, they're like, oh, Nashville, okay. If people come in late, they know. They don't have to interrupt us by asking. They'll just read my shirt. If they can't figure that out, then they're probably from Nashville too. They probably have the same shirt. I also wear it in case I get lost. People know where to send me. It's kind of like a dog leash. I got my name and number written in the back. So you can always find me if you see me laying on the street. Just send me back to Nashville. I'll be good. One thing I noticed since living here in Chicago is the directions that you get from so many people. Y'all use the compass a lot here, as I understand. First time I moved up here, I'm like, how do you go to the store? They're like, go north 5 blocks, then go south 3. All right. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know which way is north or south or east or left or right or straight. Or I didn't bring my compass today. And it's so confusing because the one thing they taught me was like, just remember, the lake's always east. I can't always see the lake. And people ask me, because you see someone, this is another reason I wear this shirt, because don't ask me for directions. But people will ask me. They'll be like, hey, I need to, get here. And I'm like, the lake's east. Usually throws them off and they just leave it out. And I keep going and wandering around the city with my compass. Another thing here is my only phone here is a cell phone. Cell phones are about ridiculous. The signal on a cell phone, does it ever work? Because there's really never, the one time I get a full signal, if you do this, you're done. You're out. Your signal's gone. You have nothing else left. I got quite a few places that Verizon guy can go, and he ain't gonna be able to hear when he says, "Can you hear me now?" Like my house. Come to my house. Come outside my house. Walk down the street. I can be standing in the middle of the ditch, and I'm sure I would still be like, "Can you hear me? Hello? Hello?" And I hope I never get hurt and have to call 911, because I'm screwed. Or if someone breaks in my house, and I have to climb under my bed, I'm like, hey, there's a guy in the house. And they're like, sir, are you there? And I gotta kind of scoot over. There's a guy in the house. Hello? In my house, there's a guy. Until I have to crawl out, and I just get killed. Then I'm bleeding, having to roll around with a knife in my back. I need an ambulance. What? I need an ambulance? If you don't mind, please. I don't know if this has to do with that, but what's the age where you're not scared of the dark? Because I don't know if I've hit it yet. This is why I'm standing in this little circle right here. If I go outside of it, I'm screwed. I'll never make it back. This is the only thing that I figured out. The age and the point to where you do it, or how you stop being scared of the dark, is you get married. And that's so you can have someone share your bed with you. So the monster now has got to decide between one of you. You might have a chance. And then the reason you have kids is so you pass them along to him, and then he leaves you alone the rest of the life. And then you're okay. And the thing about, when you were a kid, you were so scared of the dark, and you just hated it. Unless there's one other kid in there. Then if you had a friend over, then it's 2 8-year-old kids in the bed, and you're like, I'm feeling okay. Like the monster's down there going, Fred, Johnny's got someone to spend the night tonight. I don't know if I'd go up there. That's 2 8-year-old kids you got to mess with. It's probably not a good idea. Heard his parents are divorced though, so let's go after his dad. A game you used to play also when you're a kid is hide and seek, hide and go seek. I think that is a very, very fun game. I don't think it gets taken seriously enough though. Maybe when you were 10, when you would break your ankle to hide in the dryer so nobody could find you. And you know, when you'd get those good spots where you'd be there for a good hour or so. And then you're like, no, I don't know if this is either a great, and you don't want to leave because it's a great spot. What if he sees you leaving? You can never go back. That's such the dryer. Who thinks of the dryer? I thought of the dryer. I'm a genius. So you go, then you got to go up there, and he's already quit. He quit 2 hours ago. He's like, I couldn't find you. I looked for a little bit. The Easter was just recently, and speaking of hiding, they had an Easter egg hunt, and you know the thing is now is when they hide the Easter egg, they just throw them out on the grass. It's not game is because I guess they want everybody to find an egg, you know, make everybody happy. And that's not how I did it. My dad would hide them on the roof. You'd be mowing the grass in August and run over an egg and be like, there it is. I found it. You'd climb trees, fall down and break the leg, get up, and you still had it. And then you'd open it and it was the money egg. And it was worth everything with $5 in it. And that's all you needed. Holidays are great too. I remember the first time I met the Easter Bunny. I met him. He pulled up in my dad's car with his seatbelt on. My dad picked him up, I guess. He was about 6'5". I was wondering, I was like, that's a tall Easter Bunny. It's not what you think. I don't see how he snuck in my house. Santa Claus also is someone that you're like, I don't remember asking Santa for socks. Where did he get that idea? Socks and a toothbrush. He's wasting 2 good presents on socks and a toothbrush. Did my mom talk to him when I left? Because I don't remember saying that. And then then you got to go through the opening the presents and everything, and that's an awkward moment when you got to open presents. You don't know the reaction you're supposed to give, especially when they go ahead and open it now. We're going to watch you. And then you got to open it, whether you like. I mean, are you supposed to jump up and just woo, and just start running around the room? I can't believe you got this. This is unbelievable. You're so happy. You're just there's not any good reaction. If it is a terrible present, you're like, yeah, all right, thank you. And if that joke went well, didn't it? Should probably work on that one. I got another little story is my family, they used to give, my mom's side of the family would give everybody the same present. That was just, everybody would get the exact same present. And my dad was actually telling me this story because he was before I was born. And he said that we have 2 people in our family and they're deaf. Well, this is the year when smoke alarms came out. So they got 2 smoke alarms. 2 deaf people got 2 smoke alarms. They didn't think about that, you know? It's not a Braille smoke alarm either, where you walk by. It beeps real loud. So, and their house burnt down a couple of days later. I guess they didn't get the batteries in there right or something. Well, that is my time, and I'm Nate. Thank you.
be a clean show. I'm bringing this filth into it. I don't say the word sucks. Like, this sucks. I don't, because that was a very bad word in the 80s. And look, I'm sorry to say it now. My dad took us to see the first Karate Kid at the movie theater, and they said sucks in it. And right when I heard it, I looked at my dad and I go, what kind of trash you bringing us to? I was not allowed to watch anything. I mean, when they made The Simpsons, it was like, I guess they're just showing R-rated TV shows now. She does whatever she wants. She turned 18 and got a tattoo. And I was like, well, you're going to get in pretty big trouble when they find that out. And she goes, I'm 18, I can do whatever I want. I go, yeah, well, I'm 28 and I'm still hiding wine, so I don't think you can. Pardon my language, but I think it stinks what's going on. I think it stinks. Here's what I'm doing for, my daughter's future environment. Is what I decided to do, they say we won't have water. So I put a bunch of buckets outside to collect water. And when she turns 18 and she's like, do I get money? I'm like, something a little better than money. I bet you've always wondered what those buckets we're doing outside. Well, they're all yours. And that's for your kids and their kids. Everybody gets a bucket of water. She put Life 360 on my phone. That's so they can track you even when they're not near you. You might not even know you have it on your phone. It's worse than what the government's doing. I would rather the government track me than her. She just calls me, why are you at Krispy Kreme donuts? I'm like, look, I'm not gonna live like this, all right? If I want donuts, I'm not gonna lock my phone in a gym locker and go pay cash for donuts. I've done it, but I'm not gonna do it every time. I remember I would fall out of a bunk bed. I slept in a bunk bed. I was on the top bunk, and I would get over a railing and just fall 6 feet to the ground and just land. I mean, you don't catch yourself. It's just whatever hits first. All your body weight just lands on your head. I got a full-blown concussion. I'm crying. My parents are like, just go back to a deep sleep for 7 hours. I've had 3 concussions in my life, and none of them because of sports. Just living life, man, Stuff happens to your head. What are you going to do? Guys are not good at marriage, all right? It's not our fault. We weren't prepared for it like women are. Your whole life is built just preparation for marriage. Look at every toy you played with. When you're a baby, they give you a baby doll. So they give you a baby when you're a baby. You don't even know you're alive yet, and they're like, look, I would probably start figuring this out. This is where it's going. Then they give you Barbie and Ken. They live in a little house together, and that is where you learn how to make drama. Then you would play house, like you would fake vacuum. Just fake vacuum with your friends. That was awesome. And it's weird because when I see my wife vacuum now, I'm like, she is living her childhood dream. She's made it.
Thank you very much. My name is Nate. I'm from Tennessee, and I always like when I meet people and they hear my accent because they're always like, "Hey, where are you from?" I'm like, "Tennessee." They're like, "That's cool. I got a cousin that lives in Florida." I was like, "What?" All right. Are we just naming states? Is that what's going on right now? Is his name Kevin? Because it's not Kevin. I don't know who it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I gotta go. So good talk, though. Nice hang. My last name is Bargatze, too. I'm Italian. But here's the deal. I'm not accepted by the Italians because of the way I talk. It just doesn't work out. Like, I couldn't go to the mafia and be like, so what are y'all doing? What's happening? I like spaghetti. I would like to join. I like what y'all are doing. I don't know if anybody's like a prostitute here. I would figure some of you, most of you. All right. All of you? Oh, well, all right. It's a rough time for prostitutes because one, the economy is not that good, and if you're a prostitute in New York, you're getting murdered. So that's a lot too, But if I was always they did just have a bunch of prostitutes get murdered in New York, and I was thinking when a cop goes and walks up on someone that's been killed, it sucks because you have to go. I mean, the person's dead, that sucks, but then you got to go tell the family, and that's like horrible news.
But if it's a prostitute, it's double the bad news. Their family doesn't know they're a prostitute. So you got to go up and be like, oh, yeah, your daughter's dead. And it wasn't going that good to begin with because she was a prostitute. So, yeah. But I thought about it. I go, all right, if you have to do that, I think the best way to go about it is like you should, like when you go to the door, open with the prostitute thing. Kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. You know, you're like, look, sir, I hate to say this, but your daughter was a prostitute. Because then every father's going to freak out. And like, I can't believe I'm gonna kill her. Then you're like, oh, that's actually, that's crazy that you brought that up without me saying.
Do you remember Cecil the lion? That lion that got killed by that dentist, and people got upset. You know, they're like, can't do that. And all I thought, I was like, what are the odds? The one lion you shoot, everybody was like, it wasn't Cecil, was it? That's unbelievable. That's the worst luck. Both of them have the worst luck possible. There's 30,000 lions left. There's a 1 in 30,000 chance you shoot a lion and the whole world's like, was it Cecil? That's our best friend. We watch him every day. And it's like, he was like, I don't know, it was a lion, dude. They look like lions. They didn't have something special, make them stand out. If we love one, give them a hat. I don't know, like.
I don't believe in science. I just I don't understand it, so it's easier not to believe in it. It's a quick, they could be making stuff up, I read that they said like cockroaches are like 350 million years old, and it's like, are they, or do you know? I don't know how to go figure that out, because that's what I think you're doing. I think you know that I wouldn't even have a clue to start to figure that out, or want to, so you're just throwing numbers out at me, and I just go, all right. I guess that's what they told y'all in school.
Me and my wife, we were in Nashville last summer, and we went out on the lake, and we were like floating around the water, and there was a guy in a boat like right next to us, and my wife was like, oh, that's my ex-boyfriend in that boat. I didn't know who he was, so she didn't have to say that at all. She was just basically like, you having fun? Because I like to put a stop to that and make you stare at this guy the rest of the day. So I'm like staring at him, and then I look at my wife, and she's staring at him, and I feel like she's staring at him to see what her life would be like if she didn't marry me. My friends were like, you should have went and tried to fight him. And I was like, well, I would have had to swim over to that fight. So I don't know how intimidating that is for a guy to see a head in a life jacket floating his way. And then I gotta get in the boat, Like, if you ever try to climb into a boat from water, it's not aggressive. It takes an hour if no one is in the boat. If he's in there, I'm never gonna get in. I would need his help. I'd be like, could you help me into this boat? I can't tell you why, but I really need in this boat. We're trying to discipline her, too, and it's hard to discipline kids now. We had to put our dog down recently. And it's a tough thing to do, nothing was wrong with her. I'm just really busy right now. And she was very sick. That was a joke, all right? That was a joke, and she would have loved that joke, so don't you worry about it. That's the type of humor she had. She was a rescue. It's not your labradoodle humor, all right? It's a little darker.
Và mọi người có thể ở đây có mã code để chúng ta trích xuất nguồn gốc cũng như xuất xứ, giá thành, công dụng và tác dụng của sản phẩm mọi người nhé, giúp tránh không phải hàng giả, hàng nhái, hàng kém chất lượng với giá thành cao. Và bên cạnh đó, Ruby Kit được chiết xuất dưới dạng siro có mùi thơm, thanh dịu, nên giúp trẻ dễ uống, chứa rất nhiều chất dinh dưỡng cho sự phát triển của trẻ, giúp trẻ ăn ngủ ngon. Bên cạnh đó, sản phẩm hoàn toàn lành tính. Sản phẩm đã được kiểm nghiệm lâm sàng và công nhận từ Bộ Y tế. Các mẹ có thể hoàn toàn yên tâm về chất lượng, cải thiện rõ rệt. Trứng biếng ăn ngon, không quấy khóc, giúp bé có khỏe mạnh, nâng cao sức đề kháng, tăng cường chiều cao, hỗ trợ xương chắc khỏe, giúp cân nặng, tăng chiều cao trong tháng, giúp các con thu nạp chất dinh dưỡng tốt nhất, sáng tạo, tăng cường trí óc, mang lại cho bé giấc ngủ ngon và sâu các bạn nhé. Hướng dẫn sử dụng là trẻ em từ 2 đến 5 tuổi uống 2 lần trên ngày, mỗi lần 1 ống. Trẻ từ 6 tuổi trở lên ngày uống 3 đến 4 lần, mỗi lần 1 ống các bạn nhé. Và uống trước ăn 30 phút hoặc sau ăn 1 đến 2 giờ đồng hồ. Không sử dụng cho trẻ mẫn cảm với bất kỳ thành phần nào của sản phẩm. Sản phẩm không phải là thuốc, không có tác dụng thay thế thuốc chữa bệnh. Đối với trẻ em suy dinh dưỡng, mệt mỏi, biếng ăn,